Hello everybody, welcome to 10 Minute Reviews. That crazy fuzzy one is Freya. I'm Jason, and I'm bringing you today's episode. So as always, I'm going to talk about four things. I'm going to talk about the world, I'm going to talk about the characters, I'm going to talk about the plot, I'm going to talk about the writing style. So what am I talking about today? Today we're going into a genre we've only talked about a couple of times. It's not one of our main genres, although I've read a ton of them. I actually have an entire shelf and a half devoted back there to it. Westerns. I'm going to talk about a Western novel, and I'm going to go with a different author that I've talked about already. I want to talk about William W Johnstone, and I want to talk about Blood Valley. I'll talk about Blood Valley, and I'm not really going to get into the plot, although briefly, because this is less plot driven. All those books, the plots are kind of very, very similar. It's mostly the writing style and the characters that are so fascinating. Now, as far as Westerns go, William W. Johnstone writes the least realistic type Westerns of any of the authors I've talked about up to this point, from Matt Brown to Louis L'Amour. His are much more of a almost like a Pulp Fiction type of Westerns. The characters are, one, hilarious, and two, always, god level gunfighters and marksmen and stuff like that. There's a lot of amusement, a lot of tongue in cheek in it, and his books are just fun. They're easy reads and there's a lot of fun. So the world, pretty obvious. You got the Old West. We're talking, most of them late 1800s, especially Blood Valley, and although, even though I'm bringing up Blood Valley, I'm mostly going to talk about this one character, and he's in 2 or 3 of Johnstone's books. So again, less plot, more we're just talking about the character. He's got a couple big series. He's got his Smoke Jensen series, which is The Last Mountain Man. He's got his first Mountain Man series, and that's where things are definitely very, very superhumanish in a way. So of course, the first Mountain Man series, it tends to happen in the early to mid 1800s, whereas the Last Mountain Man series tends to happen in the later 1800s, which is also Blood Valley and its related books as well, because it's a character that's introduced in the Smoke Jensen books. And that character, they eventually reveal his real name, although at first, the first few appearances in various books, he supposedly this is his real name, but it turns out that it's not. But his last name is Pickens. His first name, Cotton. Goes by Cotton. So yes, the character's name is Cotton Pickens. And he's kind of written as a lot of Johnstone's characters, especially side characters. He started out as a side character. Is written as kind of more of your folksy, local yokel kind of guy. He kind of writes him as the stereotypical, illiterate, uneducated cowboy with some cleverness to him. Not quite like his Smoke Jensen series, where Smoke is married to a school teacher and is very well educated, very literate. More like a lot of the other characters, where again, your local yokel, the kind of person you'd laugh at if you saw him on screen, kind of thing. But like most of his characters, Cotton is a gunfighter, and he's a known gunfighter. So in his books, of course, all his characters pretty much are known gunfighters. But if you were to do a ranking, Cotton is probably in the would be in like the top 10, top 5 gunfighters in the West, kind of thing. Maybe even top 3. As it's written, Smoke Jensen from his Smoke series, his last Mountain Man series is of course fastest gun in the West. And you've got like Louis Longmont, that's supposedly almost as fast as Smoke. So Cotton could maybe be number 30. He certainly thinks of himself that way, as it's brought up in one of the books. It could be a little bit further down the list, maybe behind the brothers from the Blood Bond series, William W Johnstone's, plus people like Charlie Starr and some of these others that show up. But regardless of where he is, he's definitely up there. Definitely up there. And through most of the books that he appears in as the main character, he generally ends up as a lawman, generally ends up as a local sheriff or deputy sheriff. Kind of the whole, traveling through town kind of thing, interrupts something, wins the fight that occurs when he interrupts it, and then the town wants him to help them out with something. And that's kind of how it goes. they're really not plot driven. I mean, yes, there's the characters, and you've got this, usually the big bad. But honestly, the Cotton Pickens books are just more just fun reads. That's all they are. They're more based around just the character and how he talks and how he interacts with people and how he finds himself in situations and then the eventual gunfight. I mean, it's just multiple gunfights throughout. I'm thinking about, and I think I've read three books where he's the main character. I couldn't tell you the plot of a single one of them. I really couldn't, and yet I know I've read them all 3 or 4 times. I've read Blood Valley probably 10 times. Last time I read it was last year. I've got a lot of books, but and I know I'm going to read it again. And a week after I read it, I wouldn't be able to tell you the plot, but I can tell you, man, it's fun. It's all kinds of fun. It's a ton of fun. If you like fun, if you like westerns, and you like action, I suppose, check it out. Check out William W Johnstone and Blood Valley, or any of the other Cotton Pickens books, or really any of his westerns. But the Cotton Pickens ones are good because it's just 2 or 3 of them. If you get sucked into the last Mountain Man, you've got 40 books you got to read. If you get sucked into the first Mountain Man, you probably got 25 books you got to read. Blood Bond, I don't know, a dozen books. Whereas the ones with Cotton Pickens, just 2 or 3, so maybe 4. So after you hit the like and subscribe buttons, folks, go check it out. We'll catch you next time. Bye now.